Yeah, hello there, Green Thumbs. I'm out in the courtyard here. I thought we'd start our little tour here. First thing I had to do just yesterday was remove all the weeds and everything that was growing in these. You guys would have been amazed at how many weeds I pulled out of here just since things started getting going this spring. But I also pulled out a bunch of lettuce and radishes, and I've been eating salads. So thanks to those of you who planted that stuff last fall. All right, so in the first one here, we've got some ornamental peppers coming up, and then I'm gonna do cucumber and squash in the middle here, and maybe some big sunflowers in the back. And ditto that for bed number 2 in the courtyard. Instead of cucumbers, we're gonna do winter squash here in the center section on bed 3. And then over here, I didn't have any more of those ornamental peppers, and so I did 2 of the buzzer buttons, those toothache plants with the little yellow flowers that, you know, when you pick these off and then you chewed them up, it made your mouth go numb and it kind of felt like electricity in there. Anyway, I thought that would be kind of fun next year. So let's walk out to the garden area and I'll show you what's happening. Beautiful day today. You guys getting out and making your own gardens, I hope? Okay, so from right here, I'll just kind of give you a panorama. You can see I've put mulch down in the pollinator garden, and I've planted many other flowers inside of there. New shed, new pergola. We'll take a closer look at that stuff in a minute. Let's just start over here in this corner and see what we can see. Of course, I picked the time when they are running the lawnmower. I installed the raspberry canes, I planted them, and I planted them bare root, and the canes themselves are from last year. You can see on some of them there's a little bit of new growth coming in, and when you plant raspberries you only plant them about 2 inches deep, and then they root themselves deeper than that. We got them on this little drip line running here with emitters every 6 inches. There's 5 raspberry plants, and then we get into these teeny little things right here are blackberries, but there'll be a giant bush of blackberries by the end of August, and hopefully they'll be full of fruits supported by these trellis wires. Okay. Got some hollyhocks, which are big 6-foot tall flowers by the end of the season. You see your daffodils that you planted last fall have come up and flowered nicely. Just moving along here, we got some Russian blue sage and a couple of shrubs, silver dusty millers. Our forsythia bushes are done flowering and now they're putting off their leaves. Here's some nice flowers. These are violet impatiens. Those will get about 3-4 feet tall up here by the end of the growing season. More shrubbery, daffodils. You can see we're repeating things. Oh, here's some butterfly bush down there. Just coming along the pollinator garden here, so you can get a nice close look at everything. The Japanese flowering cherry trees have finished flowering and now they're putting out leaves. Let's take a look at this pergola. Those of you who helped me sand and shape all those boards, I know that was a big job, but look how nice your work turned out. It just looks great. You guys did an amazing job. Okay, let's take a look at some of the beds. Inside this bed, we have planted parsley, leeks, chives, and dill. This is kind of a herb bed. Over here, we're gonna have Swiss chard and broccoli and cabbage and kale. Then on the inside of this hoop, you see how the halfway in between the bed, the metal hoop runs up and over. It's about 6.5 feet tall, so you can walk under it. Here we're gonna have peas, pole peas, growing up the inside, and then beans, ditto that on the other side, more beans and more peas. Oh no, I'm sorry, these are cucumbers that are gonna grow up there. And then beneath that is lettuce. We put lettuce underneath the arbor here because this will all be shaded once those peas and beans grow up here. Everything down here will be in the shade, and lettuce will do okay in the shade. Okay, other side. We've got some sweet banana peppers, eggplants, Swiss chard eggplants. Over here, we're gonna have cauliflower and celery and winter squash, onions, more winter squash. Carrots we do under these boards. Carrots, they're tiny little seeds, and if you let the sun hit the soil, it dries out too quick, and since the carrot seeds are right on top of the soil, they'll dry out and desiccate before they have the chance to germinate. So we put these little boards on here, and then look, when the carrots pop up, as soon as all of them have sprouted, I'll pull that board off, and that's the way you get carrots to germinate from seed out in the garden. Here's some cucumbers to grow up the trellis here, and the squash will grow up that side of the trellis. Look at all those carrots, rows and rows of carrots. And then on these back trellises, we're gonna have peppers, all manner of peppers from sweet to spicy, and then all manner of tomatoes behind those. From cherry tomatoes all the way up to the big slicer beefsteaks. And those tomato plants are gonna grow up here, and we're gonna train them up this wire, and they'll be 6 feet tall by the time harvest gets here. Note on your compost, Sonny, you'll appreciate this. This pile is north of 110 degrees here today. It was 100 yesterday and 85 the day before. I just flipped this a few days ago, so that one's heating up. And pile number 2, which I believe was Avery's pile last fall. This one is, again, north of 110 degrees. Just flipped this one yesterday, and it too is heating up nicely. So I'll keep those going so that we can have some nice compost next year. Here in the window boxes of the garden shed, I put some petunias, which will flower nicely for us all summer. Just look real good there. And the other side has all the same plants as the side I just demonstrated, so I won't go back through that. And I thought I'd leave you today by just taking you over for a visit with the bees. You can see I've got some water here for them hooked up to the drip irrigation system. So every other day, about 2 gallons of water fills up into the pail, so they have a constant supply of water right here next to their hive. Let's watch them go in and out for a second. We'll see if we can catch any of them bringing in some pollen. Well, I sure do enjoy watching the bees. I hope you guys are relaxing and staying healthy. We'll talk soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, for today's assignment, I just want you to recap 2 things that you learned in today's tour of the garden. Maybe it's about the carrots or what's growing where and why, whatever you want. What did you learn today from watching our video? Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.